Listen closely, my friends. Right now, something in your life is not calm. Maybe it is your work. Maybe it is your relationship. Maybe it is your finances. Maybe it is something you cannot even fully name yet. Just a feeling that things are moving too fast, that too many things are happening at once, that you are keeping it together on the outside, while quietly, the inside is a different story. And you are doing what most people do in those moments. You are pushing through, keeping busy, staying productive, because stopping feels dangerous, because if you stop, the chaos might catch up. And here is what nobody tells you about that strategy. It does not work. Not long term, because the chaos is not out there. The chaos, the real chaos, the kind that actually affects your thinking and your decisions and your relationships and your work, is in here, in the mind, and you cannot outrun your own mind. But you can train it, and today, that is exactly what we are going to do. Marcus Aurelius was the most powerful man in the world, and his world was almost never calm. Wars, plagues, political betrayal, personal loss. For most of his reign, something was falling apart somewhere. And yet, the people closest to him wrote that he had a specific quality, a stillness. Not the stillness of someone who does not feel things, the stillness of someone who has learned, through daily practice, to meet the chaos from a different place, not from the middle of the storm, from the eye of it, that place where the chaos is real and present, but cannot reach the part of you that decides, is what we are building today. And here is the most important thing I want you to understand before we begin. Calm is not something you find. It is something you build before the chaos arrives, not during it. The person who is calm during chaos built that calm when things were quiet. And the practices I am about to give you are how they built it. The first practice, name what is happening before you react to it. When chaos arrives, the first thing most people do is react. Immediately, without pause, without any gap between what happened and what they do next. And the reaction, coming from the middle of the emotional storm, almost never makes things better. It usually makes them worse. The Stoic practice is different. Before you reacting, before you do anything, you name what is happening, out loud if possible, inside if not, something like, "This situation is chaotic and I am feeling overwhelmed," or "This is more than I expected and I am struggling to think clearly." Just the honest naming of the situation, nothing more. And here is why this works. When you name something, when you put precise language on what you are experiencing, something shifts in the brain. The reactive part, the part that fires fast and asks questions later, quiets slightly. And the thinking part, the part that can actually help you navigate this, gets activated. It is a tiny shift, but in chaos, tiny shifts matter enormously. Epictetus said, "Men are disturbed not by the things which happen, but by the opinions about the things." The naming gives you an opinion you chose, rather than one that just arrived. And a chosen opinion is one you can actually work with. One word exercise for right now. Think of the most chaotic thing in your life. Now name how you actually feel about it. Not how you think you should feel. How you actually feel. Just the word. That word is the beginning of calm. The second practice, ask yourself one question. This is the simplest thing in this entire video, and the most powerful. When chaos arrives, when everything is moving at once, when you cannot see clearly and you do not know what to do next, ask yourself one question. What can I actually do something about right now? Not everything that needs to be done, not the full list, not the long-term plan. What can I actually do something about? Right now, in this moment, that is it. And then, do only that. This is the Stoic dichotomy of control. Epictetus built his entire philosophy on it. Some things are up to us, some things are not. And in chaos, most of what is making you feel overwhelmed falls into the second category. Things you cannot control, things you cannot change, things that are happening regardless of how much energy you pour into worrying about them. And the moment you separate the two, the controllable from the uncontrollable. You discover something surprising. The list of things you can actually do something about right now is much shorter than the list of things you are currently worrying about. And a short list is manageable. A short list has a next step. The short list gives the overwhelmed mind something it can actually do. And doing something, even something small, returns a sense of agency. And agency, the feeling that your actions matter, is one of the most powerful antidotes to chaos that exists. The third practice, slow your body down first. This one sounds too simple to work. It is not. Here is why. When chaos arrives, your body responds before your mind does. The breathing gets shallow, the shoulders come up, the jaw tightens, the stomach clenches. And the body in that state sends a signal back to the brain: danger, threat, emergency. React, and the brain, receiving that signal, cannot think clearly, cannot see options, cannot make good decisions. It can only react. So before you try to fix the chaos, before you try to think your way through it, slow the body down. 3 deep breaths, slow and deliberate. Drop the shoulders, unclench the jaw, let the feet feel the floor. These are not meditation techniques. They are neurological resets. They send a different signal to the brain. Save, present, not emergency. And the brain, receiving that signal, can begin to think again. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Confine yourself to the present. The body is always in the present. The mind is almost never there. When you bring the body back to the present, the mind follows. And the present moment, whatever is actually happening right now, is almost always more manageable than the story the panicked mind is telling about it." Slow the body, the mind follows. The fourth practice, change the question you are asking in chaos. Most people ask the wrong question. They ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Or, "How much worse is this going to get?" Or, "What if I cannot handle this?" And those questions, however natural they feel, are the most destructive questions you can ask in a chaotic moment, because they have no useful answers. "Why is this happening to me?" has no answer that helps. "How much worse will it get?" produces only anxiety. "What if I cannot handle this?" produces only fear. The Stoics asked a different question, not "Why is this happening?" What is this asking of me? What quality does this situation require? What would the best version of me do right now? Marcus Aurelius did this constantly. He sat in the middle of his most chaotic days and asked not, "Why is this so hard?" but, "What does this moment require of me?" And that question has useful answers. It requires patience. It requires clarity. It requires the decision to act from my values rather than my fear. Those are answers you can do something with. Those are answers that point toward a next step. Change the question, and you change the direction of the mind. In chaos, the direction of the mind is everything. The fifth practice, remember that you have survived chaos before. This is the practice most people skip, because it does not feel like a strategy. It feels like a reminder. But here is why it matters enormously. Paul, when you are inside chaos, when everything is uncertain and overwhelming and moving faster than you can process, your brain does something predictable. It forgets. It forgets that you have been in chaos before. It forgets that you have survived things you were certain would break you. It forgets the version of you that came through the last hard thing, quieter, stronger, more certain of your own capability than before it happened. The brain in the middle of chaos believes, "This time is different. This time is too much. This time you will not make it through." And the Stoic practice is to go directly against that belief, not with false optimism, not with toxic positivity, with evidence, your own evidence. Think of one hard thing you survived, just one, something you were convinced at the time would break you. And then notice, you are here, still building, still thinking, still capable. That is not a small thing. That is the most important evidence available. Seneca wrote, "Per aspera ad astra, through hardship to the stars." You have been through hardship before. You have moved through it. You are still moving, and this chaos, like all the chaos that came before it, will be something you moved through, not around through. And on the other side of it, you will know something about yourself that the comfortable version of your life could never have taught you, that you were capable of this. You just need to go through it to know. The sixth practice, do one small right thing, right now. This is the practice that ends the paralysis, because chaos, more than almost anything, creates paralysis, the overwhelming feeling that there is too much to do. Too much going wrong, too many fires, that you do not know where to start, and so you do not start. You stay inside the overwhelm, thinking about everything, doing nothing, getting more overwhelmed. The Stoic method breaks this cycle with the smallest possible action, not the whole plan, not the full solution. One small right thing, right now. One email that needs to be sent. One conversation that needs to happen. One decision that has been deferred. One thing that, if done right now, moves something forward, even slightly, even barely perceptibly. Because here is what that one small thing does. It breaks the paralysis. It proves to the overwhelmed mind that action is possible, that forward exists, that you are not as stuck as the chaos made you feel. And the broken paralysis, the one small step taken, almost always leads to the next step, and the next, and the next, until the momentum builds, until the overwhelming list starts to have items crossed off it, until the chaos starts to feel not gone, but navigable. And navigable is all you need right now. Not solved, not over. Navigable. One small right thing. Right now, that is enough. So here are the 6 practices. Name what is happening before you react. Ask what you can actually do something about right now. Slow the body down first. Challenge the question from why to what does this require. Remember, you have survived chaos before. Do one small right thing right now. 6 practices. None of them complicated. None of them requiring special conditions. All of them available to you. Right now. In the middle of whatever chaos you are currently in. Marcus Aurelius wrote something in his private journal, on one of the most chaotic nights of his reign, that I want to leave you with. He wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The chaos outside is real. The chaos is not the problem. The problem is when the outside chaos becomes the inside chaos, when the storm out there moves into the mind, and the mind stops being able to think, decide, act from its values, choose its response." These 6 practices are not about stopping the outside chaos. Nothing stops the outside chaos. These practices are about keeping the inside calm, about maintaining the one thing that cannot be touched by any outside event, your ability to choose how you meet it. That ability, practiced daily, built before the chaos arrives, is the most powerful thing you will ever develop. And it starts right now, with the next breath you take, slow, deliberate, chosen. That breath is the beginning of everything. If this found you at exactly the right moment, share it with someone who is currently in the middle of chaos and needs to know they have more tools than they think. Subscribe for new Stoic wisdom every single week.